All right, fellas. There's a lot. I think it answered a lot of our previous questions, these past couple of weeks, but there's a lot to unpack here.
Here's a story of a
It's
man named Brady who has 5 wives and 24 kids of his own.
man, it's
Wow.
when you sent that to me last week, I honestly watched it 2 additional times, bro, because um there's a lot. And it's so I'm glad you sent it because it did kind of answer some of the questions we had previously. But where's
I
my
thought it
man
might.
Smith? He didn't dropped off. So I guess, not to ramble so much about that story, but we could probably tie in that story to some of our questions. And I don't know where Smith is, man. This brother then dropped off.
I
Um,
mean, quite frankly, dude, that whole scenario, when I thought of it, I'm like, 5 wives. I was
yeah.
just like, that's a lot to deal with emotionally, mentally,
Yes.
you know. Like you
Financially.
saw
I don't
the
yeah.
finances, like, all right, fine. Finances, if you got the money, you got the money, which it seems
He ain't
like
got the
they
money
figured.
because some of them bros are working.
Well, listen, it's 2021.
Yeah.
Bro, it's got to work. But the whole thing is,
Understood, but yeah.
let's say each one of them was making, let's say, I don't know, 40,000. Between 5 of them, that's 200,000.
Yeah.
200,000, and if he brings, let's say, another 200,000, that's 400,000. 400,000 should be enough in Utah to get by.
With all them damn kids that he couldn't name.
Well, listen. That's why you got Sam's Club, Costco, BJ. You know what I mean? You got to buy stuff in bulk. That's why
Bruh,
they make that just for his family.
you knew that shit went wrong when he couldn't name his kid after the fourth, or after the fourth, the shit just started to become
Yeah,
a
like
blur.
there's number 6 and number 11. We try to keep jerseys on with their names on so I can remember.
Yeah,
But
man.
He
like,
should have known. He should have knew all his kids' names.
He should have known.
Yes.
I
Come
mean,
on,
listen,
Smith.
it's
You would have known all 24 of your kids in that situation.
yes. I mean, honestly, dude, it's
Now,
like, listen,
listen.
you don't
I'm
have
gonna,
24
I'm
people in your life that you know.
gonna say this:
You
school
can't keep
teachers,
24 names
school,
straight.
school teachers have 24 to 30 kids in their class at times, and they know all the
You know
names.
what? I stand corrected. You're right, Smith. You're
How the
absolutely
Thank
hell
right.
do
you.
you know all your kids' names? Because
Because
you
he
out
ain't
there living
there.
a lifestyle. He don't give a damn about the family and the kid. He just want to have sex with all the women, with all of the cousins. And then he got Chubby feeling some kind of way. You know what I mean? she like
I'm just like,
she like
I was,
Barbie and what did she say? Barbie and Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like, yo, come on,
He's
yeah.
like,
So all,
listen. He's like, listen. On a sneak tip, I got a little BBW. A little BBW finish. That's why I keep you around.
All right. So let's tie
you
this. Let's
know,
let's tie this into the books, man. Let's get into the questions. Hey, we'll refer to the clip as we go through these questions. So let's start off, man. Let's start off with mine. So how much visibility should polyamory get on mainstream platforms?
when you say mainstream platform, what do you mean?
Like
Like
yeah,
television?
like television, um, some aspects of social media, but mostly television, and a lot of these streaming apps, like the popular streaming apps like Netflix and
I don't think
Amazon.
that. And I'll be honest, and maybe it's gonna sound patriarchal. I don't care.
Nah,
Um,
shoot your yeah. Go ahead, bro.
the whole thing is like in the scenario that they had it seemed okay. It seemed somewhat healthy. It seemed like it was working for them. Like women are like, yo, I'd rather get 20% of a good man versus 0% of a good man. Like um, and the reality is that there aren't enough men going around. You know, um, especially if you're looking for a specific ethnic, variety where
Mm,
and like I had to admit where Umar Johnson had a point was that the fact of in the black community, women in the black community outnumber black men like 2 or 3 to 1, you know, and if you're already outnumbered 2 to 3, to
How
one.
many of
And
that
then
are
if you,
good men? Yeah.
how many of them are good men that got their shit together? You
Yeah.
might have it might be 5-1. So
Yeah.
it's just you gotta make your choices. You gotta make your choices. But do I think it should be in the mainstream? Yeah, I think it should be in that context. Yes, in that context, yes. In the context of like some of the stories, like these group sex parties and this, that, and the other that were in the book. I feel like that's a bit much. That's a bit much.
It was.
It was a little bit overwhelming. It's like, listen, like if you're gonna have sex, a group sex, it has to be consensual. Or if there's a group already going, you can't just jump in, and just like you gotta wait for somebody to invite you in, and don't be just go sticking your hand or it'll kick you out the party. But because consent is absolutely necessary. But at the same token, you're gonna tell me a story about a group of lesbians, and you telling one chick telling another chick to hold her down while I go down on her. It's like, wait a minute. You said consent a minute ago, and then this girl said she wasn't ready for this open group sex stuff, and you tell your friend to hold her down while you go down on her. I'm like, which one is it? Man, this book was bizarre.
Smith, how mainstream should polyamory lifestyle should be? Should it get how much visibility should it get?
I think it's getting enough visibility right now. I think if you actually want to find out about it, you can. They just showed us three different series that they have on about it. I think what the 5 Wives one, the Big Love.
Big Love. I know about Big Love.
Whatever the third one was.
Yeah.
But this one goes into the actual sexual relationships. And as these people are fluid bonding with each other, definitely because they have kids and all these kids are related. And then he's married they were all cousins anyway. So he married the females that was all cousins. How much more mainstream do you want to show when we can see that? I don't think it needs to be any more than what it is now. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the drag queen shows and the RuPaul show, all of the stuff that they have on TV anyway. It's similar to that. If you want to engage and find that, it's there. You know what I mean? So they don't have to wave any more flags and put any, like run out and go put more shows. Because even this book spoke about other books that, this is just one of the, they say the best books that they have on, this conversation. But yeah, that was a lot. At the end of the day, I don't think like you're showing that lifestyle, but you see that there was issues. Like the females were having issues. You know what I mean? They're in competition. They're in steady competition with each other. They were treating it like a sorority, they said, you know what I mean? And not feeling adequate enough for their lover. He's trying to, run a game. Well, that's his love. He's right. He's confessing his love for them, and telling them what it is. But you don't know your kids' names. You said everybody is loving. You letting them know, look, I'm up here with the fifth wife, and she get a double night because it's her birthday. So one of the stipulations is on birthdays you get a double date. You know what I mean? A double dose date. On a birthday.
You get both balls on your birthday.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, you got 2 houses, 30 members, and your food bill is $4,000 a month.
That food bill is insane.
Well, you got the females at work. And I mean, they're like this book is saying, they do have open communication. Mm-hmm. From what I saw for them, they have open communication. That's what the book speaks about, having that open line of communication. As long as everybody is in agreement, even if they still feel shitty about it. And that's how you going to love all these people, because somebody going to still feel shitty. I understand that you say I'll take the 20 over the 0, but really 20% over nothing? Like, they say something is better than anything, right? But I don't know. I couldn't do 5 wives.
No, I couldn't do it either.
Man.
Two, maybe.
Oh, we'll get into we'll get into that, because Smith got a question too. That like how often how many you can do. For me, real quick to like touch on the question. I don't know. Like, it's interesting because I definitely know that there are some shows, but if this is going to be the wave of the future, especially when I look at the younger generation where they're not even open to marriage. I don't know what the younger generation is into, to be honest, man. They're just all over the place. But like, if this is something that's an option, I think it needs more light in regards of the pitfalls. Because seeing that one lady cry about her body image, just having those dynamics play itself out, I think that needs to be aired out some more. How much visibility? Just a little bit more. I don't want it to be like you said. I don't want it to be overwhelming, where it's just like you. I don't want to use the word corrupt because that could go completely left. I just don't want it to be overwhelming. Yeah, exactly.
Like you're forcing it down on.
Yeah. Thank you, Smith. Like, I don't want it to be like some shit like you're trying to indoctrinate people like this is the lifestyle. It's just,
I don't think it's indoctrinate if it's honest. If it's giving a full perspective. Here's the good, bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
Then I can't be mad at it. It's like a documentary on anything else.
Yeah.
Like if it's giving an honest perspective where you get to see all of it, the good, bad, and the ugly, like I said, then it's like, all right, then you can make an informed decision. But if it's just if it's like the book saying, no, monogamy is depression, while, polygamy is freedom, it's like, man, miss me with that bullshit.
That bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Black Zeus question. Which one you want to go with first? First or second one?
First one.
First one. All right, this book is written from the perspective of two women who are involved with one another. Do you think this book provides a universal and realistic understanding of men, women, monogamy, polygamy, and sex?
So with my question, basically, my whole thing is, as I'm listening to this, and some of the rules and regulations that they were giving you that's supposed to be quote unquote practical, I'm like, what makes you think this is going to apply across the board? So for instance, they're saying, instead of having sex, wash your partner's feet and give them a foot massage and this, that, and the other, and blase, blase. And I'm just like thinking to myself, how many men are really like, oh yeah, baby, I love when you touch my feet. Like, like that's not something a lot of men, like, there's a reason you don't see a bunch of men, getting pedicures every Sunday and shit like that or whatever the fuck. That's not really the way men typically respond. Or, a date night with yourself, run a warm bubble bath, light candles, put on a nice perfume, do your hair, and put on something silky and this, like, so you can touch yourself. Like, dudes aren't responding or behaving that way or responding that way. And if there is, like, remember that movie, The 40-Year-Old Virgin?
Yeah.
Like that is like such a minute minority that it's damn near, negatable. So it's just like I felt like they were writing this book from a female's perspective of what a woman would want in a polygamous relationship. And I just felt like it wasn't a full circumference view or full encompassing view of polygamy, of what, would be expected, what males in a polygamous relationship would want or expect, or how they would feel about it, how they would go about it, any of those things. So I just felt like it wasn't realistic. It wasn't universal or realistic.
That's interesting. I guess the next book we'll have. Yeah. Well, you know what? That's interesting because maybe we probably have to find an author, and obviously, whether it's my turn or whoever else, find a male author who's written a book on polygamy. To give us that sort of, does it matter if his sexual preference is? Does he have to be a heterosexual individual, or could he be gay? If we were to choose a male author on this topic,
preferably heterosexual. So we
preferably hetero, but he probably would, well, yeah, because but these two females were gay. They weren't.
Yeah. Well, the only reason why I asked is because Schubert was saying, like, the perspective of two lesbian authors writing this book, and it's and there's some,
it's very biased.
It's very biased. Whereas, like, all right, maybe we should find a male author, who's written on polygamy. And I was just asking, what should their sexual preference matter in that situation? could it be a male author who's heterosexual with multiple partners, or, if a male author happens to be gay with multiple partners, does that matter?
No, but like you said, I got this partner. I'm going to rub this partner's feet.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would prefer.
And rub this partner's ears. And that can get them to the climax.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna go on to the next partner, and then it's going to be a different situation where I'm stroking them or holding them. This partner just likes cuddling.
This one likes
that's not what I'm into. I'm not into that.
Honestly, here's the thing. I think a objective and unbiased thing. Because here's my whole thing. They wrote this whole entire book. He gave you all these anecdotes and perspectives and this, that, and the other. The only time that they gave you any facts or statistics is when they talked about masturbation, about how a study was done with 100 and something people or 200 people, and in a relationship, X, Y, and Z, and they all masturbated. Even though they were in a relationship, you know what I mean? That was the only time that they gave you some objectives, an objective study, and a study that had both sides of the perspective, male and female, in a relationship, outside of a relationship. You know what I mean? That was more of a unbiased, universal, realistic thing. But all the rest of it was just their own personal anecdotes and feelings. And that I have a problem with, because if you're going to guide someone who may be interested in this, and you're giving your anecdotal and your experience, your personal views, you're not giving this person a fair and well-rounded or well-balanced view on this. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, I see where you're coming from.
A lot of stories. We're getting a lot of stories from their lives.
It's kind of like if you're getting so for instance, we don't appreciate it when someone gives the viewpoint of Black men just being deadbeat dads and criminals and this and uneducated X, Y, and Z, because we know that's not a full encompassing view of Black men. We know there are plenty of Black men that are hardworking, that are good fathers, that are this, that, and the other. But if you only get this one biased view, you see what I'm saying? So it's just like the same thing with these two women. They're giving their own biased view in the entire book.
Yeah. What you got, Smith?
Yeah, I think I'm going back to the question, but I think
do you think this book provides a universal realistic?
I don't think it's universal and realistic. It might be realistic and universal to their lifestyle and what they're doing. But as far as, what they were talking about, well, I think this part is realistic. The whole book that I'm getting the gist of, outside of the sex and what was going on, is they're still talking about the communication. And that there has to be an open line of communication for anything to work. And that's true in monogamous relationships, as well as polyamorous relationships. That communication has to be there. Now, the extent of the level that you have to do it with the polyamorous lifestyle, I think, is greater than that you would ever do in a monogamous lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that you would do with your wife. You know what I mean? That's just given because those are things that you're trying to do, either to make her feel sexy or just because that shit turns you on. You know what I mean? To each his own, so everybody got their own thing. But I think their storyline is still more based into their lifestyle as being these, they're polyamorous, but they're also lesbians. They're not bisexual. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They didn't have any dude introduced in there. Now, early on, one of them said that she told a story about a dude, but I don't think it was from her, from Janet's life, though. I think it was from one of her friends.
Yeah.
So I don't think they, had that lifestyle where they were, even when they were talking about the ebbs and flows of going into the orgies and things, I still think they were doing the lesbian part of it, not the universal part where it's like just not all lesbians here. Like you got to infuse the guy at some point. You know what I mean? The guy got to be in there.
I think they mentioned some aspects of the guy. I don't know. Is it realistic? It's realistic for them.
Yeah,
Yeah. In regards of, is it universal? Like, I think Schubert touched on it. It's just like, um, many of the things they've said is very cliche as to like what you need to do, be honest, communicate, all that other, stuff that goes into any relationship.
Except the
So
contradictive stuff like, oh, your partner's feelings are not your responsibility.
yeah.
well, I don't know if it's I think
That
that's
was
more
contradictive.
that I think that was more controversial than anything, because I've heard people say that in monogamous relationships, where you're not responsible for your partner's feelings. You might be responsible how you react to your partner's feelings, but you're not responsible to their feelings, how they derive to their feelings. I don't know, like the authors made some good, interesting points throughout the book. I think for me, it's just like I just don't see it as, and I don't know if they really, if we were to really talk to the authors to say like this is very practical. I think these are just heavily recommended suggestions that they're offering. It's just that I think for us, a lot is just like if you're trying to practice this abundant shit, like this just feels like a shit storm waiting to happen. I think that's where it feels like it's unrealistic. It's just like, yo, the unrealistic part for me is the abundant shit. She said it even in the conclusion. I'm like, yo, there's no way I could do this successfully in abundance. It's just like this shit will be a shit storm waiting to happen. So I think that's where it becomes unrealistic. Like on a surface level, if you're talking about maybe one or two partners, and this is one of Smith's questions, maybe this is obtainable, but like, yeah, I don't know.
See, I don't know, because to me it was very contradictory to say. So, for instance, there's an abundance of love, but you should be used to being by yourself because we're on a time. It's only 24 hours in a day, and you can only give but so much time to each one of your lovers. So it's just like, how are you saying there's an abundance, but you're contradicting and saying there's limits?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then it's like,
Yeah.
we have to have open communications and say how you feel. But your partner doesn't have to, it has no responsibility in how you feel or have to fix it or anything like that. It's like, oh, you feel jealous? Oh, okay. Well, you told me about it. That's all I had to do was listen to you. All right, I'm still gonna go fuck Jim. Like what? It's like,
like bitch, you're over here crying and you talking about you gotta go later.
Exactly. So I'm just like, that's like, it's like, yo, my wife is downstairs cooking, and I'm like, yo, I'm hungry, and she was like, oh, that's nice, and she continues cooking for herself. It's like, are we really partners?
Yeah, and I think you do need that male part, because they did say in the book that the females enjoy the females, but then the ethical sluts don't necessarily like the bisexual males.
Yeah, they don't like the bisexual males.
Like bisexual males, and it's like,
and then the gays are obviously gays, and it's just like, so, but it's just like, so, how do males play a role in all of this? Which they did not really specifically say. They really just said,
that's what I'm saying.
They gave little small anecdotals where it's like, this girl had a husband. This one woman had a husband, and another guy she played had her daddy issues with. Her daddy daughter issues with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like that was pretty much it. Or like, then there's cuddle parties and this, that, and the other. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't see how this works with, polyamorous heterosexual males. Like, I didn't see anything about polyamorous heterosexual males in here. It's more towards, bisexual,
the LGBTQ lifestyle. Yeah, it was
pretty much.
Yeah, it was really good. There was a lot of that. It wasn't
a whole lot of that.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of that. None of the heterosexual aspect of polyamory.
They didn't really talk about couples. It's going on.
Yeah.
So even when they were talking about couples, you would thought they would have mentioned like swingers and stuff, and talked about married couples that get down with other married couples, or married couples that introduce someone else to the relationship, or this, that, and the other. Something where heterosexual males have a place. Even in that, they were like more talking about, well, jealousy and being, aware of your partner's feelings and this, that, and the other. And I'm just like, you're going right back to what you already said 300 times.
Yeah.
And it seems like you're more concerned about a woman's feelings in a relationship than anything else. Even the way they talked about the tyranny of hydraulics or something like that, or the terrorizing, something about, I forget what it is. It was like in chapter 21, where basically they're talking about, getting pummeled by a nigga's dick. All right, that's what they were talking about. They were talking about, getting beat up by the dick. And it's just like, even in that context, you're just demonizing dudes.
Yeah.
It's just like the terror. I forget what it was. It was something like the terror of hydraulics or terror of thumping or something like that. It's just but basically being penetrated. And it's just like, yeah, screw these chicks, man.
All right, let's transition to the Smith question. My man Smith went ham this morning. Got like 5 questions. Which one you want to start off with, Brother Smith?
Start with go in order.
So go in order. All right. Were you single and
never mind that question. Who gave that question?
All right, never mind that question. So which one?
That question. Negate that one.
Huh? That one?
Yeah, the second one is the first
second one.
I was on that question.
All right. When a traditional marriage breaks up, nobody takes that as evidence that monogamy doesn't work. So why do people feel compelled to take a slut's breakup as evidence that free love is impossible? Damn, that's deep.
Say that again.
When a traditional marriage breaks up, nobody takes that as evidence that monogamy doesn't work. So why do people feel compelled to take a slut's breakup as evidence that free love is impossible?
Because when they were talking about, I forget what chapter it was. I think it was 19. And it was about a lot of times, the monogamous relationships, they break up and, go through divorces or whatever the case may be. And nobody, thinks the why to that's just acceptable. It goes down in the rule book and, it goes into the statistics basically. But when sluts go through that, it's like, see, I told you couldn't work. You couldn't have this many partners. You couldn't have 5 women like we just watched that clip of. So I'm saying, like, why do people think that just because
it didn't work, with that one partner in a polygamous relationship, why do we instantly think negatively about polyamory, where it's like in a monogamous relationship where divorce is rampant, we still look at monogamy as the way of society?
Exactly. And you'll still try again.
You'll still try again. That's what I say. It's just as deep. It's like, I don't know. I think off the rip, I struggle with this book because I'm just like, this is not sustainable. As Black Zeus was saying, like, there's no way this is sustainable. Whereas monogamy, you're still dealing with one individual. You're giving that one individual 100% of your effort, even though you might not get all 100% of your needs met. Whereas in polyamory, it's just like, my chick settled, going back to the story, she said she want 20%. Then what happens when that 20% becomes 10? What happens when that, then it dwindled down to 5? And now you're in this situation now where it's just like you're getting none of your needs met. So
but they said you could create a lifestyle where you could be older, like, 70, 80, and everybody still get all their needs met with the love and still have people to take care of them if you have that community set up.
That's true too, because I did point out, because I think and the author did mention this, and it was bear repeating when she said it again. I'm glad you point that out. It's just like, I think a lot of times when we think about polyamorous relationship, we instantly jump to sex. I do. I default to it. Whereas like, it's not that. It's just it's a connection that you have with somebody. Like I'm trying to, as I'm aging, I'm trying to be open-minded and not trying to be judgmental. I just think that we've been a monogamous society for so long. Well, Western nations, that is, because you got tribes in Africa and in Latin America that practice polyamory more so than we do. I think it's just been part of our culture for so long that it's just like, you're just gonna make monogamy work, whether it's with one partner or another partner. It just has to work. That's how society functions. Whereas, like, I don't know. It's. I just think that's the way we were indoctrinated, I guess.
I don't know. The whole thing is about the polyamory is, yeah, it is the sex aspect, because at the end of the day, what takes a platonic relationship from being platonic to a romantic relationship is some sort of sexual encounter. Doesn't necessarily mean just intercourse. It means, having romantic interest, having personal and private moments. It means, it means having intimacy with someone that you don't share with just any and everyone. And if you're splitting it, 3 ways, 4 ways, 5 ways, it becomes diluted. It becomes diluted. So how can it really be the same love or in abundance as someone says, I can't, have you known any? So even when people say, oh, these are my 5 best friends, do they really mean that these are my 5 best friends where they tell everything to all of these people? Or the fact that they share certain things with the group, and then there's certain aspects that they only speak to one other person or 2 other people because they connect with them a little bit more on that subject or that area. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, even with the friendships, like if it's you, me, if it's the 4 of us, right? There might be things that I might talk to Pratt about that I might not talk to Hakeem and Kev about. There might be things I might talk to Kel about that I don't talk to Hakeem and Pratt about. You know what I mean? Like, that's just the nature of human interaction. Mm-hmm. So the thing about the polygamy thing or the polyamorous thing is that I don't think necessarily it's a good or a bad, or if it's better or worse. I just think the fact of it's not, it has its pitfalls. At the end of the day, it has its pitfalls. Just like monogamy, it has its pitfalls. And the difference with monogamy is that we understand the pitfalls of monogamy to the point where now we ask people to get marriage counseling before getting married, because we know that everyone's going to fall into the same pitfalls. Like, it's not going to hit the same. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, we all understand, like, after a minute of time, your spouse is going to gain some weight, or your interests are going to change, or you're not as, like, all lovey-dovey as you were in the honeymoon stage.
I think they didn't counseling in this either.
And that's the thing. They don't mention counseling in this. No. Like, if
they did.
No, they talk about individual counseling. Don't talk about
no. They did say you find a therapist, but they said that we understand that it might be difficult because the default to your question is the therapist most likely might say, well, maybe polyamory is not for you, so try your very best. And I think she referenced a source where you could try to find a therapist who understands the lifestyle, where, they're not going to instantly try to divert you away from living the lifestyle. It was like in the middle chapters, I remember the middle chapters,
but it seemed like it was one-on-one therapy. I don't remember them saying like group or couples or anything.
Yeah.
It could have been, it could have been one-on-one. You're right. It could have been one-on-one.
I remember, I remember reading about the therapy because they were talking about jealousy. They were talking about all the emotions.
Yeah, it was like, it was around that chapter.
They're talking about one-on-one. They weren't talking about a group therapy.
Yeah.
Like with marriage, they try to, a lot of people are trying to get people to go to marriage counseling prior to getting married. Mm-hmm. It's like you and your spouse to be get counseling together. Like, hey, listen, make sure you're on the same page. How many kids do you want? Who's going to be doing the cooking? Who's going to be doing the cleaning? Who's going to be doing this? Who wants that? So that you're going into this with the right mindset. You know what I mean? Because when you're just all lovey-dovey, you're not thinking about all that.
Yeah.
So my whole thing with the polyamory, it's like, you're just kind of winging this, and then you got to deal with it's different. It's one thing to deal with one person's personality in a relationship. which can be difficult, has its difficulties at times. Now add 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Oh, but
and just have space for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering that about Brady. I was like, so if he has a different wife, does he take the weekends off for himself? Because he's like, listen, I'm with Maureen on Monday, Tiffany on Tuesday, Wanda on Wednesday, Teresa on Thursday, Francesca on Friday. Saturday, Sunday, I'm off with the boys going fishing. I'm chilling. You know, like.
You're definitely not a productive person doing that. I just don't see, unless you like I said, a Jeff Bezos or Floyd Mayweather, like you can't be the average guy doing this and still be productive and seeking the best potential for yourself, because that's a huge distraction dealing with all those type of women.
Yeah.
Like how are you focusing on yourself and your business and your craft doing that? You know.
I got a better question that they should have asked him instead of the kids' birthdays.
What question was that?
I mean, should he ask not the kids' names? They should have asked if he knew the wives' birthdays.
He's like, I got a Google Calendar on my phone for that.
Yeah, because it seems like again, that seemed overwhelming. He owned the construction company also.
Yeah, he did.
It seemed overwhelming when it came to the part of the love. You know what I mean? I know everybody had their little Brady pillow and shit. That was whatever. But
that was disturbing.
Exactly.
That's what that was. That was disturbing. Everybody gets a body pillow with Brady on it. And
I know, like that's supposed to really
bubble of your name.
Because he's dreaming of us.
I'm just like, so y'all all pillow humping, huh? Okay. All right, listen, I ain't mad. Pillow humping's hot. Pillow humping is hot.
Says who? Shit. I know one of them about to dip off.
Hold up, you ain't never seen a chick pillow hump?
Nah, bro.
Yeah, she was about to
look
dip.
it up. Look it up.
No, I know what it is, but it's just like that's not substituting the real thing. That's
no, definitely not. Definitely not. But I'm just saying.
That's why Big Girl was out there crying.
Don't nobody want me. He's like, girl, you my fetish. Come on, I'll stop it.
Nah, but to Smith's question though, it's just like the moment we hear one story that such and such happened in a polygamy, relationship, we instantly saying like, see, there it goes. The shit doesn't work. Where the monogamous relationship, man, you're talking about 50% divorce rate. You're talking about all this other issue, and it's just like it doesn't get that same pushback. I see it like, and it's true. Like if I were to hear somebody say, I just came from a polyamorous relationship, and let me tell you all the chaotic shit. I could easily point to a monogamous relationship. I was like, let me tell you about this relationship. Just
here's the thing. Does it really surprise you, bro? If dealing with one person has so much chaos, what makes you think multiplying that is going to make it better?
I give no pushback on that. That is so true.
So it's just like, that's why I'm like, the argument it fails. It fails in so many ways. It's like, I thought having one thing was a problem, so I multiplied that problem and it got better. What?
Yeah.
What? Show me a scenario where that has ever worked out.
Like to try the polyamorous lifestyle, though, because some people do it. You know what I mean? Like they be in multiple, not necessarily. They're not in multiple relationships. They just sleeping around. At a time. They're not invested, because in a polyamorous lifestyle, you got some investment in there. You know what I mean?
And here's the thing I'm getting from this is that from these two ladies' perspective is that it seems like a polyamorous lifestyle is more of like, getting attention from multiple people. That's the only thing I'm really getting from this. Because they keep trying to divert away. They keep trying to divert away from the sex aspect, and they just keep coming back to the spending time and cuddling and talking and looking at each other in the eyes and this, that, and the other. It's like you just want attention from multiple people. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, there's a level of narcissism, I think, in polyamorous relationship. I think there is a level of narcissism because at the end of the day, you're trying to find ways to complete yourself, not necessarily, I don't know. I don't want to simplify it because it's just like I said, I try to be open minded, and there is this sort of free love thing that they're doing that I don't know. I just been too westernized to think.
They're doing some Burning Man free love.
I'm not, my whole thing is it's like, yo, to me, that's all I'm really seeing. If you're telling me that it has nothing to do, if you completely take sex out of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Completely take sex out. There's no sex involved, right? What else is there other than someone else's time and attention?
But is that wrong though? Like, is it wrong?
Is it wrong? No. But my whole thing is that, you know, here's the thing, is the fact of that's what it boils down to, is that you want multiple people's time and attention to yourself. And that just seems a bit greedy and selfish. Because at the same token, you're saying you don't have to, you don't have responsibility. Though I want everyone to acknowledge my existence and my needs, I don't have to acknowledge anybody else's emotional needs. But at the same token, I got to respect everybody's emotional needs. What? How does that work?
Yeah.
How does that work?
And the same way that old girl was feeling about her body compared to the other girls.
Yeah.
I'm certain that after they taped that, some of them ladies was feeling some way because you remember their kids, you don't remember my kids. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
There you go. See?
Yeah, there you go.
Like, come on now. That don't hurt. That don't sting.
Yeah. Yeah. What, you just gonna stop at number 5 when you got 19 more to go?
Yo, trying to tell you.
No, I'm just saying, like, I don't know. That it seems,
You know, and then let them see that so you saying that Deborah makes a beautiful little girl. So you trying to say my little girl isn't beautiful? Like Deborah's little girl? Like, yo.
Yeah, like I got a beautiful girl named,
that is just too much. That, yo, you are splitting your time and attention too many ways.
Mm-hmm.
You know, too many ways. Because here's the thing, right? Real talk. Let's be real about this, all right? Let's keep it real. When it comes to sex, right? Everybody's still getting the same dick. Everybody getting the same nut. You getting the same pussy. You know, it's all the same. Okay, that's what in that scenario. Like Brady, everybody's getting the same whatever inches Brady throwing. If he throwing 5 inches, he throwing 15, whatever the case is. He is 60. If he lasts 30 seconds or 30 minutes, everybody's getting the same dick. But not everybody's getting the same attention. All right. It's like, oh, you're coddling the chubby one because she's insecure about her chubbiness. But what about the one that has the bigger boobs, one that has the smaller booty, one that has she's blonde, this one's brunette, this one is shorter, this one's taller. What insecurities are you covering for them that you're not covering for me?
So are you saying, all right, they're getting the same dick, but are they getting technically the same sexual experience?
Attention. No. They might be all getting the same sexual experience.
I don't think they all getting the same sexual experience, bro.
They're not, but they could be.
Listen,
they could be, but I don't think so. Because I can tell you, I'll tell you right now, if I'm in a polygamous relationship with Brianna, she getting dick down differently than my wife is, bro. She just did it.
Listen, even in Rihanna, after a while, you're gonna get tired of that, all right? Look at Jay-Z. Jay-Z is banging Beyonce, and he was like, yo, let me step out here with this white girl right quick. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care how fine the chick is. You're gonna, after a while of banging the same fine chick, it's gonna be like me mashed potatoes.
He got 5 though. He got 5s. That's
but I'm just saying, like.
But here's the thing. What I'm saying is, the sex will still be the same, but the attention will be different because everybody is different.
Yeah, there's no denying that. The attention will be different, but I think the sex can also be different too, though.
Yeah, but the whole thing is that's not what they're seeing. What they're seeing and hearing is the different attention. So the whole thing is, if he's
amongst the wives, yeah, you're right.
Amongst the wives. So the whole thing is, if he's paying attention to the wife in one way, and he's not paying attention to another wife, the other wives are going to feel some sort of way.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
yeah. Well, and it could be something minor, especially when it comes to women. It could be something as minor as like, oh, you noticed her highlights in her hair, but you didn't notice in my hair. You didn't notice I got my toes done for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You didn't notice, like, it'd be something really, really minor.
You always notice Jenny stuff, but you don't never notice mine.
Like, women are petty like that. It's like, I
Yeah.
remember the time that my one of my siblings, his wife, was like really mad at my wife for her diamond rings. It's like, hold up, me and my wife had just got married. We just starting to build. Y'all been married for at least 12, 15 years. Y'all got two homes, one here in America, one in Europe. Y'all got Persian rugs, grandfather clocks. You got like split levels, this, that, and the other. And you worried about my wife's rings? You see what I'm saying? That's how petty women are.
Yeah. All right, let's transition to your next questions, Shu, and I'm gonna tie that in with my question because it's almost around the same ballpark. So, has this book influenced your views on relationships, single, platonic, monogamy, polyamory, polygamy, and is there any positive takeaways?
Hakeem, you go first.
All right, run that question back.
Has this book influenced your views on relationships, whether it be single, platonic, monogamy, polyamory, polygamy, and is there any positive takeaways?
Positive takeaways, influence, not necessarily. I probably do got some positive takeaways. So let's get my old drink. I would say no. As me being married and going through a divorce, and then me being single now and deciding if I would want to adopt this polyamorous lifestyle, because I just started looking at this. Mm-hmm. And I went on to this site called OkCupid, where they got a lot of people that's doing this kind of lifestyle.
OkCupid is doing. I thought that was like a monogamous website.
That they're using some polyamorous on there.
Oh shit! All right, keep talking while I look this up.
Yeah, you have to sign in, but they got that's one of the places that they have people going to. Anyway, I didn't really. I mean, besides, like I said, the basic things that we talked about, the communication and things, there were no real takeaways besides being a slut means that you have to care for your partner as well as make sure everybody is happy in this relationship and give everybody equal amount of attention and all of that. So no, there was no real takeaways for me besides if you want to be an ethical slut, you can't just sleep around with people and hurt their feelings. You have to care about their feelings as you sleep with them.
I'm with you. I didn't really get much of any positive takeaways. The only thing I got from this is just like a shit ton of scare. Like it's just like, yo, I was just like, yo, this is insane. Like once again, I am trying to be open minded while listening to this book, and the entire time I was like, yo, this shit is insane. So I can't really say that I've come away with anything positive in regards of it influenced my views. Not really. I kind of had a sense of what polyamory was, in like polygamous relationships based on various television shows, whether it be on HBO Dark, there's another network. So like I had a sense of it. So it didn't really, if anything, it kind of strengthened my views on monogamy, to be honest. Shockingly enough, because once she got into the abundance and she concluded her book talking about, now go practice this abundance. And I'm like, nah, none of this shit is practical. I'm sorry. It's just like, I'm with you, Shu. Like, this shit doesn't seem realistic. Like, are there some things that I believe that I agree with? I do believe that monogamy is not sustainable. I agree with that in a sense of like, for a lot of people, if they really had the choice, they wouldn't choose monogamy. but it has progressed our society to have monogamous people. So I wouldn't say that it influenced. I think it strengthened my views on monogamy more so than influence anything. It is what it is. But yeah, no positive takeaways. Not really much of an influence.
Honestly, I'm with you fellas because I came to this book with an open mind. I wanted to hear something different, a different point of view, which it was definitely a different point of view, but it was a point of view that just was not well thought out or well explained or illustrated, because it seemed like it was very contradictory, in its philosophies, very contradictory in its philosophies. B, it seemed very biased in its viewpoints, and C, it also was like it didn't back up its argument with anything real, like statistics or studies, other than the one study in the entire book about masturbation. It was like that was the only study, and it was an unbiased study, whether it was like relationship, non-relationship, male, female, this, that, and the other. So that was the only part that was like, all right, well, you made a fair argument there, but everything else was completely like whatever you pulled out your own ass, your own anecdotal experiences, and what you wanted to, even like randomly, one of the exercises was like, make as much noise as you want while having sex. And then when you see your neighbors smile, like, what was the point of that?
Yeah, that's some selfish.
That was just random as hell. Like, it had nothing to do with the chapter. Yeah. So it's just like I found it very just like all over the place. And honestly, where I was very open-minded to it at first, it just really reinforced to me the draw to a monogamous relationship, because at the end of the day,
it did.
When I saw the complications in a polyamory relationship, I'm like, nobody wants to deal with all that stress and aggravation. You know what I mean? If I'm gonna deal with stress and aggravation, I'm gonna deal with one person. At least that way I know how to move with that stress and aggravation. I'm not dealing with multiple people and having to constantly, okay, move on to the next one, move on to the next one. Nobody wants that instability in their life. And that same token, like when I look at Brady and his 24 kids, I'm like, dude, what legacy, what stability can you give those 24 kids? Because you're not telling me all 24 kids are going to come out with an equal amount of fatherhood, an equal amount of financial support, an equal amount of time, education. Like those kids are gonna hurt the most in that relationship. That's the reality, because when I look at how much time I have to put into my son, like just this morning, me and my son, he got up at 7:00 this morning. We were sitting in the living room talking, and I was talking to him and explaining stocks and investment to him, and that was like a 30-minute, 40-minute conversation.
Yeah.
He understands now and everything. He gets the idea. Now he's like, okay, I want to invest in Nintendo because I have a Switch. And I'm like, all right, so he gets it. Invest in the products that he's buying or that he believes in, so that he can, profit from it later. You know what I mean? Like, imagine doing that for 24 kids. Like, you can't have close, those moments.
Yeah, you won't have those genuine moments, but if
you don't have those moments, you'll have classrooms.
Yeah.
All right, kids, all settle down. It's time for daddy to teach you about this, about life, or that about life. You know what I mean? Like, and then they're all different stages of life.
They are.
They aren't all in the same place. So you got teenagers, you got middle schoolers, you got elementaries, you got kindergarten, you got toddlers. You know what I mean? Come on, my dude.
Yeah, because my brother and I, every one of you guys have siblings, but I could speak for me. My brother and I, we didn't get really close until like, I think he was like 19 and I was like 23. Like, even though we're 2 years apart, we were not on the same wavelength for the most of our adolescent life until we became adults.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then, like just the weekend alone this week that we spent, my son, played golf. He went parasailing. We did s'mores by the fire. We did the pool. We did the beach. This and the other. That was one kid. 24 going on vacation. 24. feeding 24 on vacation, Disneyland for 24 kids. Like, come on now, missing that bullshit. So, like, yeah, even in a polygamous relationship, I'm like, that's too much is going on, too much going on. So it just, to me, just reinforced all the ideas of monogamy, despite its drawbacks. It has a lot of positives and a lot of more practical and realistic goals.
What you got, Smith?
What else I got? Well,
yeah. Now you say it looked like you was about to jump in because we could get into your next few questions.
Oh no, because I was about to say that I was just bigging up what Black Zeus was saying basically, because the polyamorous lifestyle is different. They were talking about the two oppositions, trying to say that you could basically have your cake and eat it too, and utopia, and even if it wasn't sexual, it was still like what Black Zeus alluded to earlier. It was about getting the attention from all these parties and having this euphoria in a sense where all your needs are met, but through multiple individuals.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna do that, get an OnlyFans page.
And for some reason you can't do it. So you can have that. You could try to do the polyamorous and have the family dichotomy or do the family unit part. But to me, I don't see it working for me. I told you I started looking into it and saying, I never thought about being a polygamist. Let me see if I can do that. And then I'm saying, okay, let me find the communities that's into this, because that's the first thing. Got to find the communities that's into it and see. So I told you, I'm going to still research this. This is what I've been doing. And I'm going to report back and let you all know. This is going to be something ongoing. This is my project. You know what I mean? I'm going to research this and see. I don't think it's going to work out, though, because I just don't see it working.
Yeah, I don't see myself. Dude.
I don't see it. No, Black Zeus. I don't see myself having enough energy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't see myself having enough energy for that.
Especially as you age, man, it's something else. All right, let's get into a couple of your questions.
I gotta get into my kids. I'm like Bradley.
Number 11. Number 11. Sit down. Number 11.
Facts. You just gotta get these motherfuckers numbers and shit.
14. Come here, 14.
All right. Then what? Have you had a breakup that was good, handled with maturity, open communication, and a minimum of blame, or is that just a fallacy of polyamory? That's a good one because they made it seem like the communication is so stellar that it doesn't have its drawback when in regards to like how one disengaged from the polyamorous community. And I'm trying not to associate polyamory with like the cult, like, Mormon type of shit. I don't know. I think like, how do you handle saying like, yo, this is no longer for me in a honest way? I don't know. I think because this is not mainstream, going back to like the first crime, I don't know how these people handle these sort of issues.
But remember, the one girl said she thought about leaving.
Oh, in the video, yes. She did think about it.
Yeah, but here's the thing. In the Mormon thing, at least I could acknowledge there's a structure there. It's like, hey, you're gonna get to know somebody, maybe hopefully fall in love with them, and then you're going to commit to a relationship, a long-term relationship with them. But they also know the fact of someone else may come into this relationship, a second party, a third party, a fourth party, and there's rules to it, like, hey, you can only get married to as many people as you can financially support, or be there for this, that, and the other. Even in the Mormon community, they were like, oh no, these motherfuckers too polygamous for us. They got 5 kids, and that's too when they said he was too polygamous for the regular,
he was too polygamous for the regular polygamous. I forgot about that.
Yeah, he did say that, and I wanted more. I wanted them to do a deeper dive into that because I'm like, but isn't this the lifestyle?
I was like, isn't this the definition of it?
But it was levels to the lifestyle, right?
If this is the extra, what's the regular?
Yeah. You know what? What if it's like, and I said this to you, Black Zeus, and I say it to you, Smith. I think honestly, at my stage now, financially and mentally. Because you got to be mentally mature. And that Brady dude, he was doing this shit in his early 20s. Like, I don't even understand.
At 29, he had 5 wives, right?
Yeah. At 29, he had 5 wives, and the oldest kid looked like they're damn near 14. So it's just like, you do the math on that shit. So, but for me, I honestly think now I could do one, at best one, but she got to be heavily vetted. Like, she got to have all her marbles about her. Yeah. Like I can't see an ounce of being psychotic. None of that shit. Like,
no, definitely not.
You know,
and that's where the good breakup part come in. You wouldn't have a good breakup if she's psychotic, you know?
Yeah.
Like, in my relationships that I've had, most of them haven't ended. I guess.
But
I mean,
listen,
violently,
my man did play it smart though. He was like, "Listen, I'm gonna vet it, but I make sure I get them all in the same family, all in the same litter, because it was cousins."
Yeah,
it was cousins.
It was cousins. So he's like, "All right." So she knows her personally. You know, they family. They get along. This, that, and the other. And she would know if she's crazy or this, that, and the other. You know, she can't be mad. This is a family. You know, versus just some random chick.
Yeah.
So I got that out.
I'm sorry, Black Zeus. Yeah, I got a random question. So these are cousins, but they got the same father. The children are what to each other?
Second cousins? I don't know. Shit. Are they second
I
cousins?
don't know how that works, bro. I'm not exactly sure how that works.
Oh, okay. And they ain't no damn second cousins. How the hell you gonna be second cousins when you brothers? You brother cousins.
Bruh, I don't know how that shit works. At least I would say this: they won't have no incidental slip up of because I knew a dude.
Cross meeting.
Yeah, because I knew a dude in elementary school who accidentally slept with a cousin and didn't realize they were cousins.
You sure he ain't just tell you that?
I know somebody that did that too.
I know there's somebody that did it, but I'm saying, you sure he ain't just tell you that? Because people be tripping.
Listen, that's
no. I knew both parties, and I should.
South.
Yeah, like they didn't know. Like they found out through a family reunion that he didn't go to, but like it got word came back, and they were just like, "Hold up, so and so's related to you?" He's like, "Yo, that's my cousin." And then you just like, and then you start doing the graph charts and shit, and you get the spider webs and
family
shit.
Tree, like, what you mean? You know Aunt Pookie? You know Aunt Pookie? Yeah, Aunt Pookie that's married to Aunt Ray Ray. What?
And some people find out and be like, "Fuck it, I don't even care."
Oh
yeah,
I know some.
I saw a couple that found out they was married. They was actually married when they found out they was cousins.
That's crazy. And they stayed married.
Nah, they was tripping. I don't even know how it ended. They was tripping. Yeah. There was some video I was watching. They was tripping. They was like,
yeah. You can't take that.
It's legal.
Yeah, it's legal.
I think it's like if you're second cousins or something like that, it's legal, which is still disturbing, but whatever.
Well, if you get a second cousins, I think the concern is you no longer in that territory of having like a kid with some sort of defect.
Because I think cousin,
yeah.
Well,
I think
listen.
yeah.
I'm still hoping. I'm still hoping my son gets hooked up with an Asian chick. You know what I mean? That's what I'm hoping.
Why Asian, bro?
For two reasons. A, that one, that there's no
bloodline connection. Yeah,
bloodline connection. But here's the thing: he already got the black and Latin blood from me, and he's got the white blood from his mom. Now he just needs that Asian blood. And and then the whole thing is, I can hold my grandbabies and say, I got the whole world in my hands.
This
I'm sick, man.
Oh shit!
Oh my god! You're like, I got the whole
2042. 2042. I got plans.
Oh shit!
2042. Just remember, I said it. Remember, I was the first one to say it.
You're funny as hell. I don't know though how you leave a relationship when you with multiple people, 5 people, and you want to leave.
Yeah, I don't know how you'd make that separation, especially like if it's a tight knit community and you just like, yeah, I'm just no longer feeling this. I just want to be monogamous. This is where I think it just needs to be a little bit more mainstream. I would love to see more Not some
Yeah.
TLC 5 Wives shit. Like that shit felt a little bit gimmicky a little bit. But like,
You said it when that 20% get down to 0%, you want to leave.
yeah.
When that 20% drop to 10, drop down to 5, you like, oh, okay, look, this is not really.
Listen, I don't think it even has to drop down that far.
Because
that 20% ain't that big of a slice in the first place.
It's not. When she said 20%, I was like, damn, you settled for 20?
20, yeah.
So if you drop it down to 15, it's over.
Yeah.
You don't even have to get down.
She's willing to get 15. She said she's just not willing to get 0.
Yeah, she's not willing to get 0.
She'll take 1%.
Yeah. Of a good dude. I'm like, damn, it can't be that. We can't be lacking that many good dudes where you be like, yo, I'm willing to just take 1%. Like, really?
You gotta remember, it all depends on what your definition of a good dude is.
That's what you say, Smith? How did you know he was a good dude? Like, he was a good dude because he was taking care of your other 2 cousins?
Or he's a good dude, or he's a good dude based on Bradley's qualification that you take care of her hair and nails.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we're going back to that now. Right. Really? Yeah, you just gotta dig out.
That's right. You ain't gonna lay that down, Simp. You ain't gonna lay that down, Simp.
Hey, we all Simp.
Yeah, that's a good dude.
We all Simp. Yeah.
Hey, I'm only simping for one. I ain't simping for all these chicks out here.
I ain't simping for all these chicks.
That's what I'm saying. Like these dudes that be simping for all these, I'm like, nah.
All right, let's get into the next one. All right, we've all been taught one way or another that our desires, our bodies, our sexualities are shameful. What better way to defeat oppression than to get together in communities and celebrate wonders of sex? Do you agree or disagree with this statement? Yeah,
that was all about the orgies and
this was some Woodstock free love shit that I was like, yo, I remember this shit, and I was just like, yo, this chick clearly she's up there in age, so she comes from that era, bro. So I was just get the fuck out of here.
Now, I'm gonna say this. So I've been to the nude beach a number of times. Have you ever been there?
Yes, I've been to a nude beach. Miami has one. Yeah,
this
section. Yeah.
All right, so there's one in Jersey at Sandy Hook. You ever been to that one?
No, but fun fact: Jersey was the first nude beach in the United States. I think Jersey had the very first nude beach in the United States.
Doesn't surprise me. But the whole thing is the fact that I frequent that nude beach at Sandy Hook quite a few times, and I gotta tell you, I will say I have seen a lot. I've seen some of the biggest women walk around butt ass naked, old people walking around butt ass naked, a lot of LGBT community out there walking butt ass naked, this, that, and the other, straight people, this, that, and the other, and no, it's not an orgy. People are like, yeah, whatever, you know, and I gotta tell you, there was one, I was amazed by this because there was this one woman, she was a big girl. I mean, she was a big girl. And I was like, for some reason, I was enthralled in looking at her like, wow, she is round. Like, I don't know why. I wasn't turned on. I was just like,
it looked like a nice pregnant belly. Her whole body was like a big.
Everything about her was just round. Her butt was round. Her stomach was round. Her boob, everything was round. And I was just like, and I didn't look at it with disgust. I didn't look at it with like a hornball. I just looked at it like in amazement. You know, like, wow, you know, like that's what I kept thinking. And I'll never forget that. And it was like, you know, I don't know if she saw the look on my face, but she didn't have a look of her, like, you know, she didn't have a look on her face where she saw me looking at her like, what the fuck you looking at? Or she just kind of smiled and kept it moving, you know? And I'm just like, you know what? It wasn't a bad environment is what I'm saying. You know, you don't need an orgy in order for it, but there are a lot of people that are actually very comfortable in their own skin, and you can see that if you go to a nude beach.
But the difference is, and see, the question is about the wonders of sex, not being sensual or showing sexuality or showing skin. See, there's one thing to be at a nude beach and people just walking around nude. There's another thing to be engaged in a sexual act with people. You know what I mean? Yeah. Whether you're the
one, could you see yourself hooking up with that big girl? and appreciate her bigness.
That one, possibly. With
Because
with a few drinks.
Then it would be that would be a
lie,
community. That would be the community. The new beach is one. That's the nudist. The nudist community is one thing, but to make it a sexual thing, or a sensual thing, like people not walking around on a new beach like, oh, I'm looking at somebody, I'm just busting off. Yeah. Oh shit, busting. They ain't like that. You know what I mean?
That was
you
you
still got to get into it.
You know, it reeks of, I don't know, man. It just shows, it sounds like with these authors, it's just like we should all embrace everybody no matter what. And it's just like, nah, people got preferences, yo. Like, no, I don't want to date with a chick with, you know, with all them rolls on her. Like, that doesn't turn me on.
You all watch Caligula?
But the whole thing is,
Caligula?
You absolutely should have your own. Yeah, we mentioned the
you referenced that movie, and I gotta find a way to watch it for free.
Gotta watch it now because this is a good lead right into that with all that orgy thing and stuff. Because you gotta watch Caligula, man. Please watch the goddamn Caligula.
Yeah, one of these days when I'm high or drunk, maybe both. Yeah, but the whole thing is like, yeah, I don't see anything wrong with having your preferences. This and the other. At the same time, it's like, listen, it's a tricky slope. So here's the thing. You should not shame anybody for their body or X, Y, and Z. But at the same token, that person should also understand you're allowed to have your preferences and not take them. That's the thing. It's like people think like, oh, you should have shamed them. Okay, I don't have to shame them, but I don't have to like them either.
Exactly.
I don't have to be interested either. It's like, yo, you not my type. You know, like
I'm about to say, like, you don't have to be interested. You don't have to like me.
Exactly. Like I don't have to be interested in order to not shame you. I'm not shaming you. I'm just saying I'm not interested. So it's like with Kevin Samuels when he says, you know, majority of men are not fucking with BBWs. And I can totally see that. I know a lot of BBWs that are single. You know, I can only think of 2 BBWs that I know that are married. And one is only because, you know, she got with that dude since quote unquote she was 13. And I don't know if it's like his options weren't that great or
his options weren't that great.
You know,
it just wasn't. I'm sorry, it just wasn't.
I don't know if he was. Listen, I was gonna say I don't know if he was in love since he was 13. Yeah, but like, you know, the whole thing is that you know, he's been with her, quote unquote, since they were 13 years old for 23 years. You know, I don't know if I take that seriously, but it is what it is. And the other one, when they both got together, they weren't both him and her are big. They're both big. And, you know, I don't think they were as big as they are now when they got together. They were still both on the bigger side, I think, but they weren't as big as they are now, if that makes any sense.
No, that makes sense.
But like, yeah, when I think back when me and my wife got married, she was a size 6, and I'm like, that's not an unreasonable size. You know, when Kevin Samuels says a size 6, it's not an unreasonable size. That's not like a 2 or double 0, which is a real thing. You know, a double 0 is an actual size for women, which I'm disturbed by.
But that's what they were saying, though. At the end of the day, when that quote, they was like, it doesn't matter. You've been taught that your body could be shameful. But if you get together in a group and you celebrate that shit with a group of people, you'll see that is good.
Yeah, you know and there's just like no regards to your preference. Fuck that,
no regard to a preference. If you celebrate it sexually and you go into a big ass theater and there's fucking 25,000 people and they're all having sex, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yes,
like,
it does. Yes,
it does, exactly. Like
because
you can be in the orgy and
somebody has to still want you.
Exactly.
No, it doesn't. We're celebrating sex. We're celebrating sex. You don't have to want me. Just touch me,
bro. I am not.
But I mean, I want to do that.
Oh, I agree with both of y'all. But
I ain't trying to see a 75-year-old lady naked, bro. The moment that happens, my shit is going flaccid. It's going down. It's going down.
Goose.
It's not happening. It's just like, even in the sheer presence of her seeing that body, I'm just like, nah, I can't go down. It's just, these are some, not only that, these are some 2 old broads too. trying to be
Yeah.
accepted. That's what it is too. It's just like they know their sexual peak has passed. They're no longer attractive in the market, so they're not saying like, "Look, I got this old saggy ass, moldy ass body, embrace me." So when I pop up,
ass, saggy ass body, embrace me.
Yeah. Nah, so I disagree with the statement, man. It's just like, no, hold up. You know what? I don't disagree with it. I'm not like Schuber Best put it. I'm not gonna shame you, but it doesn't necessarily mean I'm gonna embrace it.
There you go.
Yeah.
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 That's all it boils down to. I don't have to shame you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna even shame your sexual desires. If you like to get pegged, and that's you, and you my boy, and you like to get your I know a couple of dudes who like to get their salad tossed. I'm not gonna knock you.
I know a dude. I got a friend of mine. He likes you. I know a friend of mine. He likes to bang out butch lesbians. I don't really get it, but that's what he likes.
Yeah, Bush.
That's still butch.
Oh, Butch. Butch.
Yeah.
I thought you said Bush. I was about to say, what the fuck is Bush lesbian?
No, Butch. Butch. He likes to
have a Bush on her.
The dyke
likes to bang. Yeah,
no, I know. Exactly.
He likes to get in with butch lesbians. I don't know why. Yeah. I find it really odd, but I'm like, that's you. That's still. I don't shame him for it. That's.
He don't really want to do. He don't really want to do what he wants somebody to do. Anyway, with that last question, I get ready to go have some breakfast.
Yeah, no doubt. And then you want to go read this last question or just get into the ratings?
No, I read the last questions and then we'll rate.
Many people who are monogamous choose a kind of monogamy in one way or another, questioning assumptions and making conscious choices. Does monogamy mean emotional, sexual, exclusive? Please say this word. I don't get it. Thank you. Exclusivity. I don't know why I was getting tongue tied. Exclusivity, or just one, is up to each person or the relationship to decide.
Yeah.
I
All right.
think you just listen. The one thing I've come to learn about relationships, doesn't matter monogamous, single, or not. I don't want to say single, but relationships with people. We make this shit as we go along. We don't just say, "Oh, there's a person. I'm gonna go be in a monogamous or serious or a polygamous or platonic relationship." Relationships just either happen or they don't.
Mm-hmm.
But is it always presumed that your relationships are going to be monogamous?
Well, see, part of it,
not at the beginning.
You could be sexually exclusive, right?
Yeah.
In your monogamous relationship, but you can have another emotional relationship with someone else.
But would that other person understand that you're having that though in a monogamous?
No, it could be exclusive to you though. The other person know that you're married.
Yeah.
You understand? But you can have a coworker that you still have an emotional relationship with. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, that happens all the time.
And that's called,
without people even realizing, like I said.
Yeah, that's called your wife at work. That's what I'm saying. So the question is, that's what it's asking you. You know what I mean? Does monogamy mean emotional and sexual exclusivity, or this means you dealing with one person? Because to me, dealing with one person means I'm just dealing with my wife.
Yeah.
But I also deal with other people. When I go to work, I deal with, you know what I mean? I'm still doing the flirting thing. I'm still doing, you know what I mean? Like, we all know what it is. So that's what the question is, getting down to the brass tacks. And is that up to your relationship or for you to make that decision? Like, do you have that conversation with your wife? Like, hey, you know, Jenny at the office, that's my
work wife. Yeah.
Like, do you have that relationship?
Yeah, no, I think that's definitely
no. Like, we know it happens, but we don't have that conversation.
You see what I'm saying? That's
we know it happens, but we don't have those conversations, bro.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's the
I had a couple of work wives. I was like, "Oh, you going down to the pantry? Yeah, make sure you get." Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I've got 3.
Nah, I don't have those conversations, bro, because it's just like, yo, I remember there was one time my wife got real suspicious.
Why don't you have those conversations?
Yeah,
like not the full conversation of what goes on with your work wife, but why don't you just let your wife know? You know, I got a work wife, right?
Nah.
And it starts off, she like, you joking, stop playing. You're like, no, I keep telling you this because I do got a work wife. But see, nobody ever says that. But everybody at the job knows that's your work wife.
Everyone sees the relationship for me.
And possibly,
that's true. That's true.
Possibly she's married too.
Yeah.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
Shit, 9 times out of 10 she's married, but it's still your work wife.
But the thing is about work wives, they could actually be more than just that, bro.
But she told her husband.
Nah, she ain't tell her.
No, she didn't. No, she didn't.
No, she didn't.
No,
she didn't tell her husband.
No,
she didn't. She didn't. Because that dude will come see you and
send you an email.
Well, she might present it as you're like, well, Todd did this, and she, depending on the type of husband, he could be like, yo, you've been mentioning Todd a little bit too much.
A lot. Yeah, exactly.
A lot.
The work husband and the work wife never ever meets the wife though, right?
Nah.
Or the husband.
Nah, they never meet. They might meet at a company function. No, because you make sure, because when the regular wife meets the work wife, oh, this that bitch. Nah, they'll meet at a company function.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. The work.
Oh, this who your work wife is. So, now she's feeling like the chubby girl. Now she's feeling like the chubby girl.
And it's funny. The funny thing is, I actually was asking my wife about that over vacation and stuff. Was like, all right, how would you feel if I was messing around on the side with a chick that was not as attractive as you? She said it wouldn't bother much. You know what I mean? And I was like, all right, what if she was like right on the same level with you? She's like, but what if the chick was hot? She's like, that would bother me a lot. You know what I mean? So it's like, let you go ahead and play that regular and that work one all you want. Let her find out. Then she find out, oh, your work wife, quote unquote, is really hot.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. It's like, oh no. Oh no.
Exactly.
No.
Game over. I don't like that no more. She mean work wife. No, y'all don't play that. I don't know. You don't got no work wife. Don't talk to her.
My wife,
is over.
There was this chick, and I think I mentioned this before. There was this chick named Rebecca, and we connected on some physical fitness shit, and then just books that we were reading. And my wife, she didn't even need to see because Rebecca was fine. She didn't even need to see Rebecca, and she was like, "Yo, you talking about her way too much," and it was a problem.
Absolutely.
It was a problem. It didn't even need to be for her. For her, the physical was the last thing. It was just that I was already connecting with this chick on a level that my wife knew that she couldn't connect with me on. So she was like, nah, I can't. Nah, this is a problem.
I got something to share. That's the one that becomes a polygamous relationship.
Yeah.
You can go with
my wife comes to my job and talk about the size.
Your wife
of
can do these, but Rebecca does. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how the polyamorous lifestyle starts. You know what I mean? Because now you can connect with Rebecca, and it's not necessarily sexual at this point.
It wasn't sexual at this point.
But it becomes sensual because we like doing this, and we get another sensation when we get in a tough mudder or when we're working out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you don't understand that. But this is the feeling I'm getting with working out with her.
Yeah.
So, and now my wife feel like I'm cheating on her because she I can't get from that feeling.
Uh-huh.
That's how that whole circle come back.
Listen,
you know what
I mean? I give you one better. My therapist, she's a female, and she's an attractive female. My wife knows who she is. This and that. But my wife be asking me so what do you be talking about with her? And I'm like, that's between me and my therapist. We're like, why can't you tell me? Because that's between me and my therapist. Now, and I wonder sometimes, which I got to ask her, what if my therapist was a dude? Would you be asking me all these questions? You see what I'm saying? Like your wife doesn't want you sharing a quote unquote special or intimate or a exclusive relationship with another woman.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can't have that moment.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, I
remember that time when we came here? No, you can't have that with nobody else but me.
Yo, I remember one time where now I always refer to my wife as love. Hey, what's up, love? When you need love, I got you, love. That type of thing, right? One time, I remember a girl at the gym, at one of the gyms I worked at, saw me and she was like, hey, what's up, Schubert? And I said, hey, what's up, love? She's like,
Yeah.
you call her love? I'm like, yeah, I call everybody love. She's like, well, then don't call me love. I was like, God damn.
I feel on that though, bro. I
Yeah,
do feel on that.
So guess what I stopped doing? I stopped calling everybody else love.
Yeah.
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean? Like it was like, I mean, I distinguish in my mind. I'm like, it means something when I'm talking to you. It doesn't mean anything when I'm talking to them.
Yeah.
But that's just the thing. When it comes to women like your attention to be exclusive. They
Yeah.
want your romantic attention and your personal attention, your intimate attention to be exclusive to them.
Yeah, and
Well,
that's
men are
selfish in
like,
that
you can talk to
regard.
whoever you want. Men are like, you can talk to whoever you want, as long as you only fucking me. Like,
Nah, I don't trust women in their central. Yeah, I just don't trust women. I think men we could put in boxes where a woman should be.
yes,
Yeah, I don't think women are capable of doing that because they'll blur the lines. I think women are more capable of blurring the lines.
exactly. That's why they subject us to their rules.
Yeah,
Versus men, our mindset is like, I'm not fucking them.
yeah,
So we put into boxes like that's my work buddy, that's my therapist, that's
yeah.
my
My work
my
wife.
friend,
Yeah, yeah,
whatever. We put into boxes and we don't mix those boxes up.
yeah.
While women just leave that shit just to be like an open, perimeter and shit. Like,
Container and shit.
yeah, it's just an open container. It's like everything. This the miscellaneous container.
Yeah. Everything just go into it. Yeah. Oh man. All right, fellas, let's rank it. But Smith is hungry. Shit, I gotta go get
We're gonna get censored so much for being like quote unquote misogynist and shit.
Nah. You know what? I think we were pretty good this time around, bro. We've had more harsh conversations. All right, fellas, let's get into the rankings. Who wanna go first?
Let me shoot it down first. 2 out of 5.
God damn. All right.
Should have came with some statistics. Should have came with some studies. Should have given more of a well-rounded perspective. That wasn't biased. That also had a male viewpoint in it, or some male, or not paint monogamy and heterosexual males as the enemy.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any good takeaways at least in that 2 out of 5?
In that last section in chapter 21, when they're talking about sex, it gave me a couple ideas to do with the wife. That's about it.
I will get you a lot of good safe sex talk. All right, what you got, Smith?
So yeah, I want to piggyback with the 2, but I'm gonna give it a 3 because I took away just a few tips of things that I was going to try with this polyamorous lifestyle that I was going to get into. But the reading wasn't that good, and the whole book is basically we talk about trying to get into this sexual post scarcity where you can be in tune with a person by touch and being compassionate and all that. And I'm like, not seeing that in a lifestyle where you got all these different partners. You know what I mean? If you're gonna be a hoe, be a hoe. That's what the ethical slut is. The slut is the hoe, but the ethical part is being compassionate about being a hoe.
Yeah, like, compassionate, communicative. Yeah.
I'm concerned about you, Black Zeus. I'm concerned about you, Cash. I know that your feelings towards me being a hoe. We all in this together, but I can't see you until Friday, right? So I like to read.
I hear your feelings. I'm just not acknowledging them.
Yeah,
I'm always Black on that. It was those.
Yeah. For me, I give it a 3 out of 5. It's I think there was some good chapters in here in regards of like Smith pointed out, the communication part was pretty interesting. But what Schubert said, like, is no different from it being preached in a monogamous relationship in regards of communication. They were very good in every issue that you would think of in a polygamy polyamorous relationship. They did touch on. They didn't shy away from talking about it. But to Schubert's point, it wasn't really backed with any data statistics. But I kind of overlooked that just based on I don't know how widely available this has ever been studied.
And they made the solutions seem like they were just simple, easy solutions to all these problems.
Yeah, so that I think my biggest knock on this was how practical all of this is when you're dealing with children, when you're dealing with jealousy, shit, even when you're dealing with sex. Let's be honest. Like they were saying like, yo, use latex. Like they're telling you to do all of this safe sex. I'm like, yo, somebody's gonna slip and not practice safe sex. Some shit's gonna go down raw, and you're gonna have.
Or just here's the other thing, the consent thing.
What'd you say, Frank?
Like I said, that's the part we gotta have the conversation, and that's why I like picking up that term fluid bonding.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that term meant, any kind of fluids that you're basically sharing with an individual means that you're bonded by that fluid.
Yeah.
So if I'm kissing on a motherfucker, or if we're having unprotected sex, we're doing the fluid bonding. You know what I mean? Whereas I'm still in a polyamorous relationship with somebody, and we're not supposed to be doing fluid bonding because I'm supposed to be putting the latex on. You know what I mean? I'm supposed to be doing the dental dams and all this other shit.
Like even using latex gloves. I'm like, bro, who's even doing that shit?
Or here's the thing.
Like who's doing that shit? Put a latex glove on?
And here's the thing. Smith pointed out something that I just realized. That, he's right. He did say they were talking about fluid exchanging, bonding, whatever they want to call it, right? So if kissing is in that realm of fluid bonding, this, that, and the other, how are you having an intimate relationship with someone that you can't even kiss because that's fluid bonding?
Yeah,
because you're touching on their ears and you're massaging their feet.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like,
so like there was a lot of things.
So how is that different from just fucking around?
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to understand.
That's my biggest thing right there.
It's like, how is that intimate? Like, how is it any of this supposed to be intimate? Abundance of love, relationship, this, that, and the other. When it's like, to me, you just sound like you fucking around.
They're trying to justify being a slut.
Yeah, it's like,
well, yeah, but I think that's the whole.
You know,
I think that's what they're trying to have you embrace. It's like, yeah, this is sluthood. You know, they're not denying it. This is sluthood. It's just they're just telling you the ways to
ethically.
But yet they were talking about like, oh, you know, some people just want to fuck around and score, like they like get notches on their belt, sport fucking, and I'm just like, how is what you're doing any real different?
Yeah, you know what? So I'm glad you pointed out, because even I had questioned that. I was just like, so hold up, you're gonna knock the person who wants to sport fuck, but yet you're trying to have this abundance of love. Like, where's the? I'm like, there's a disconnect there.
Because sport fucking, like Black Zeus said earlier, sport fucking is this though. I'm not getting the attention.
Exactly.
Okay.
I'm just getting fucked.
Exactly. Okay. But at least here's the thing with sport fucking, right? At least with most part of sport fucking. Most of the time, both people know what it is. They met at a club, you know, they went to a hotel, whatever the case was, hooked up that night, or went to a spot, back of the car, whatever the fuck it was. You know, they got caught up in that moment and they knew what it was. Nobody was asking for love. No one's asking for acknowledgement. No one's asking for, you know, talking about their feelings or creating agreements. It's like, yo, you got a brother? Yeah, okay, let's do this. In and out, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. See you when I see you, if I see you.
But
you know what I mean?
Polyamorous lifestyle, though, the sport fucker wants to fuck everybody that's in that circle.
Okay, and what's wrong with that?
No, nothing.
My whole thing is, if that
they just don't like it. They just don't like it. They want you to have a relationship. They want you to have some kind of bond.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be that. Yeah.
That's just like, but you know, why is one thing okay? The other, like they were saying, like towards the end at the end of the book, like, you know, when we can get rid of these lines of wrong and right, but yet you created these lines. Through this whole book, you were creating lines of monogamy is depression, while polyamory is freedom. You were creating lines when you said some people are all about sports fucking and we don't accept that. So you know, like
the contradiction. Yeah, you're right. The contradiction in that statement makes no sense. It's just like, all right, it is what it is. But fellas, it's been a real one. I hope It was amusing though to read something this controversial. I think it was a really amusing book, to be honest.
I'm a listen. I'm again single.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Cash. Yeah, they shot me up, Cash. They shot me up. Anyway,
They got you.
They got me, but I'm single, right? So
and vaccinated.
Like all this, like reading these books, like everything that we read, I'm just taking all this in.
Yeah.
Like I can have a great conversation with polyamorous, slut, ethical or unethical.
Yeah.
Like I'm just building this, and I want to try this at the bar. I need to get to the bar so I can have a drink with a young lady and be like, yeah. So I just wanted to know, what are your takes on this? Now remember, see, I already got all the questions still in my phone. See. In this book club, and we looking for a nice individual. Are you single? Or are you in a polyamorous lifestyle? See, there go my end right there. And then I'm gonna be like, all right, let's see what it is.
And she's gonna be like, polyamorous. Yeah, I see you. Shit. I might do that. I'm married. Are you single or in a polyamorous lifestyle?
I'm not polyamorous, but you got to take me to Haven first. I'm gonna be like, all right, well, bye, bitch.
Look,
I'm
man.
gonna take you. No. Here's where you flip it. Like, listen, I don't know about Haven. I take you to heaven.
We already declared dudes don't get that way out like women do. In order for a dude to practice polyamorous lifestyle, you got to be in the top 1% or top 10%.
Yeah.
You can listen. You can be in that if you're willing to pay some money.
Yeah. Or you some Tyson Bedford, is that his name? Unless you look like that dude. Dudes like me, you got to be financially secured.
You can look like that, but if you ain't, that ain't cutting it for chicks nowadays, man. Because those looks get me this Birkin bag.
You right, yo. I'm learning more and more through you guys that there's
I mean, like, are those looks getting me like it's different now. It's different now.
Yeah, these chicks ain't settling just for your cutes and shit. They want your financial resources.
No, they want that if they're looking for a long-term relationship. But if you Tyson Bedford, you that good, chicks will fuck you. Don't
all right, well, if you're Tyson Bedford, what you're doing is engaging in sport fucking. But like to practice polyamory, you got to be a top 10% earner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do sport fucking. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
That's what it is. All right, Shu, you next week.
I'll stick to the sport.
Hey,